So first question, okay, what made you take the leap of faith and try this process, our Empower coaching, and what made you join the team?
You, you. I was in a very painful place in my life, and I felt like I was just spinning out of control, and I was afraid, and I did not trust myself.
Yeah.
From a fitness standpoint, I did. From a nourishment perspective, I did not.
Yeah.
I knew you, and I knew we had a connection, and I knew I could trust you without even having a conversation with you. And once we did have a conversation, I knew I could be completely vulnerable with you and you had my back.
Mm.
And it was a no-brainer from there.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Mhm.
And the thing is, you have, and this is off record, but like you have been so open and vulnerable, which is why this is working so freaking well for you, you know?
Yeah.
So good. Okay, what would you tell, knowing your journey, Joel, of history bodybuilding, right? Low deficit, seeing yourself, and then kind of you coming on and us needing to reverse diet and increase your intake. And that can be really scary, right?
Hmm.
What would you tell you back then, or somebody that was in your position that slowly in that reverse diet when their real goal is to also be lean and stuff like that? Like, what would you tell
I think knowing what I know now is educate them on the why. Because it's not enough to say this is what you have to do. And it's not just educating them on the why, but I'm gonna give you and what you've built more props in that it's not about the physical person.
them?
It's about the whole person and what's the psychology that goes along with the fear, and what are you really afraid of? Is it about gaining weight, or is it about losing control, or is it about triggers that you were a heavy kid? So I think it's really understanding the whole person and the psychology behind the trepidation, and then educating around this is why we have to do it this way. And if you're afraid of it, let's talk about why so that we can get you comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm. So good. So good. Okay. I'm gonna add two more in. I gotta add two more in real
Okay.
quick. So knowing where you are today, okay, knowing the journey that you've been on, what is
Hmm.
the most surprising thing that you got out of Empower coaching with us?
How freaking powerful I am. Yeah. When we did my max test, I blew my own mind.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where I read this. I was looking back through old journals, and I think at the very beginning, like I had written down a goal of squatting 225 again and deadlifting 250, and I blew both those out of the water. Um, and I will even more so. I think I blew my own mind. That's the best. That and just I think what goes along with that is being open. Um, and the other thing, gosh, there's more of this. I know you said the one thing, but there's others. Learning how to, I've leaned into discomfort my whole life. To grow, I have leaned into discomfort. Most of it has been emotional, some of it even spiritual. I've never leaned into the discomfort of a growing physique ever, because I lived there for the first 14 years of my life. So to me, weight gain and expansion was about going backward. And
Yeah.
once I understood that leaning into that is how you get over and through it, that's kind of like a no-brainer now.
Have you heard of the book Obstacle is the Way?
No,
Oh,
haven't
you
read that
love
one.
this. I can't remember his there, but he talks about that big thing, right? Whatever that obstacle is, that's the way that you pursue and you go. And it's such
Yeah,
a shadow of what you've done and like what you're doing with everything.
so true. So true. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, last one, I promise. So think about somebody that's on the fence, right? Like, do I invest in myself? Is this worth it? What would you tell them for somebody that's on the fence?
You mean with regard to this or just in general?
With regard to Empower Coaching or in general, whichever.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that I would tell somebody who may want to coach with me is um, you are your greatest investment. If you want to spend $10 on diet pills, you're investing in your worth. If you want to invest in time and energy and commitment, you're your greatest project, and you're the one person you're going to be with for the rest of your life. There may not be anybody else, but you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. Why would you not invest in the one person you're going to spend the rest of your life with?
So good. So good.
Hmm.
Cool. I got to get you on the podcast. This is outside of that. I need to get